We'll see what happens. We're standing by for this news conference. Chairman Ed Royce of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, thanks very much for joining us. I want to bring in our Chief National Security Correspondent, Jim Sciutto. He's over at the State Department here in Washington watching what's going on. You're working your sources as well. I just want to remind our viewers, we're standing by to hear the High Representative of the European Union, Federica Mogherini, together with the Foreign Minister of Iran, Javad Zarif. He's been the chief Iranian negotiator. He's pretty optimistic. He's tweeted already, a deal looks good. They got to work out the details now before the end of June. The president, Hassan Rouhani of Iran, similarly has tweeted, looks like they got a deal, but they still got to work out the details. What are you hearing, Jim?
Well, Wolf, I got to tell you, the key here really is the details. I was there in November in Vienna when they last extended these talks, and in July when they extended them previously. At that time, they said the same thing they're saying now, that there's been enough progress to continue talks. The thing is, the way they outlined, the way they described these deadlines in November was a full political agreement by March, and then just the technical details in the ensuing 3 months leading up to that June 30th deadline. If you hear today general parameters with the details still to be worked out, that actually means that there's still a lot of negotiating to do, because they're really stretching the definition, Wolf, of what a technical detail is if you leave a lot of these questions open on the disposition, for instance, of Iran's huge stockpile of enriched uranium, on how quickly those sanctions are going to be lifted, and if it's immediately or over time. I mean, those are more than details. Those are key issues of disagreement, and we've heard that leaking out in recent days as they've kept extending these deadlines. Doesn't mean they haven't made progress, but if you're leaving major details like that, or really major areas of disagreement, you got a long way to go to a final agreement. And it's interesting to hear them echoing some of the rhetoric they were saying just 4 months ago and 8 months ago when they said we've made enough progress to continue talks. But it does sound like it's possible they got a long way to go.
Yeah, well, they've been negotiating for 18 months already. Now they say they need another 3 months. We'll see what happens. Jim, I want you to stand by. Once again, I want to remind our viewers, momentarily we'll be hearing from the representative of the European Union together with the foreign minister of Iran. There's the microphones set up already. We'll have live coverage of that. That will be followed by a news conference by the Secretary of State, John Kerry. And presumably we'll also be hearing from President Obama at the White House. He's delayed a departure outside of Washington for Kentucky. Presumably he's going to make a statement as well. Much more of that special coverage coming up here on CNN. Also ahead, another major story we're following states. Federal officials have now arrested 2 women in an alleged New York City bomb plot. The suspects apparently had ties to ISIS. We're getting new information on this very disturbing development. We'll have much more when we come back.